Good morning and welcome to the August 13th meeting of the Council on Aging for the town of Shrewsbury. My name's Alex Roman. I'm the board chair. We have a few board members here, but first, do you want to introduce our new assistant director?
Yes, so I'm proud to announce that Aisha Sahin, our former office assistant, has recently been promoted to Council on Aging Assistant Director.
Nice to meet everybody. Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And this was the director of the council.
Sorry,
Senior Center Council on
Hallelujah,
Aging.
Director.
Right. All right. Other board members, you want to say your name?
Shingara Deha.
Ruth Scala.
Good morning, Larry Mayon.
John DeHaze.
All right. So there's no minutes to review, so we're going right to the financial reports.
Yep. So due to end of year closeout with accounting and new fiscal year, we don't have accurate Munis reports right now, the software reports to share, but I do want to share some spreadsheets that Aisha has kind of reformulated since the last time we met. And so I just want to direct everybody to the original FY26 budget sheet, if you could, Aisha. It's not sharing.
There we go.
There we go. So, as we talked about the last time we met, back in June, the way I go about it is because we have so many different accounts and so many budgets to expense and take in revenue, we have the general fund, the WRTA funded salary, the formula grant, the gift fund. We now have a food pantry account and the revolving account. So I'm going to send it over to Aisha so she can go through the general fund. But before we do, does anybody have any questions on the new spreadsheet, the way Aisha created it in regards to the way it used to be? Any questions on any totals? Any questions on any of the line items that you might have seen? So not hearing any. So what I'm going to do is Aisha, if you don't mind, I'm just going to stay right here on the FY26 budget sheet, and I'm just going to go down just to kind of refresh everybody's memory. So in the very top, we have all of the salaries. And then as we scroll down, we come into the general fund operational line items. So you can see that we have utility telephone at $2,000. We have hospital and medical, so that is for our van drivers. Services not classified. So this is the line item where when we are not expecting certain expenses. So let's just say like one of our refrigerators breaks in the food pantry, or perhaps we need a new chair, or we need additional funding for office supplies. That's where we take the money from first before we dip into any other accounts. So that's what services not classified is under the general fund. So moving on, then you can see we have the print postage. So we have $2,000 allocated from the town, which helps us send out our newsletters. The actual cost of our newsletter mailing per year is about $7,000, and it goes up substantially every single year whenever we get more people that are requesting mailing of the newsletters. Then we have office supplies, which I think is self-explainable. Car allowance and mileage, so that line is designated for all of the staff and or volunteers that kind of help us out utilizing your own personal vehicles, and there is a stipend. Then we have dues and memberships. So dues and memberships would count for like the National Council on Aging, the Massachusetts Council on Aging, My Senior Center software, and you'll see one that says the Motion Picture Licensing. So when we play movies at the Senior Center, or we have any kind of songs or anything like that that is copyrighted, we have to have the motion picture licensing so we do not get fined. So that is every year. Then we have, moving on to training and conferences, so that is for the staff. So when we attend the Massachusetts Council on Aging each October, or any other kind of training. Sometimes we have leadership trainings that will fall under this same line item. Then moving down, you can see it kind of gets away from the general fund and it moves over to the formula grant. So we kind of look ahead to where we want to allocate money for of what we've done in the past and anything we want to either try something new or improve on for the years following. So you can see, and I always talk about how the Shrewsbury Council on Aging, it's easiest to describe that we break it up into 4 categories, and that's programs, outreach, nutrition, and programs. So you're going to see that as I'm talking through the formula grant. So beginning with programs, so we've allocated $2,000 for fiscal year 26 for tech support clinic, $2,500 for the Veterans Luncheon in November. Volunteer appreciation, $5,000. So I just want to touch on the volunteer appreciation. So that includes the annual luncheon that we have and anything in between that we do to make sure that we recognize the hard work that our volunteers do. We increased last year our memory cafe expense item from $4,500 to $5,500. Then we have multicultural events, $5,000. The multicultural events, I just want to expand on that a little bit. That is part of our fiscal year 26 goal for the Shrewsbury Council on Aging. Then after that, we have the Interage Alliance and Yahoo. So that helps us purchase our swag or any kind of lunches or anything that we might provide to the students for that also. Then we have recreation collaboration, the Play on 60 Plus. If you remember, we have $12,000 for fiscal year 26, and basically that cuts down to $1,000 a month. That helps us work with the recreation department to help. They're going to help us find those outdoor events, sporting, fitness, whatever it might be, and we're helping them fund those programs to help seniors, and now this is just for seniors 60 and over, to attend those fitness programs that are outside of the senior center that might usually be a little bit maybe too expensive, so we help offset some of those costs with the recreation department. Then you can see, moving on, we have Seniors Still Believe in December that we have allocated $500. The reason why that number is a little low, because we really rely on community donations for the Seniors Still Believe. So we send donations to, or gift bags, I should say, to those that live within the Housing Authority and or Meals on Wheels programs and the clients that are part of that. Then we have the Spirit of Shrewsbury, which is coming up in September. So those are the things that we might need to pay for extra marketing and advertising and things like that. Does anybody have any questions on programs? So moving on to nutrition. So we had the coffee line item there. So back in May, the Friends of the Shrewsbury Senior Center agreed to pay for the coffee at the Senior Center, which is free. So the way that is working out is we will pay those invoices ahead of time, and then we will re-invoice the Friends of the Shrewsbury Senior Center to be reimbursed for those expenses. Then moving on, we have cooking demos and nutrition seminars to kind of collaborate with our nutrition pantry, our food pantry. Then we have the food pantry, the $5,000. So the reason why I have the $5,000 there is even though we get a substantial amount of donations, every now and then our food pantry runs dry on certain kinds of materials, whether it be hygiene, paper products, or anything like that. So instead of us going without, we utilize some of the formula grant to make sure that the food pantry is stocked and replenished. Then, of course, we have our Tuesday cultural meals at, I skipped one. Tuesday night dinners at $18,500. So that we work with Sirloin Catering in Northborough. We offer 25 regular meals in addition to 4 volunteer meals every Tuesday night. It rounds out to be about $15 per person, and we charge $5 to kind of offset those costs a little bit. So, and we are pretty booked almost every single Tuesday. Then moving on, we have the Tuesday cultural meals. That happens in the afternoon.
I'm sorry,
Just a
Shagara?
comment on the supper, actually it's 5 volunteers.
5 volunteers.
So it should be 5 meals.
Okay, so we will need to look into that, but thank you for keeping us alerted. Tuesday. Thank you, Shankara. So then we have the Tuesday cultural meals. So we have $3,600 allocated towards that. So that is 2 Tuesdays a month. We have an agreement with Elder Services of Worcester. So they come in and they offer, in addition to a regular congregate meal, they offer an Indian cuisine meal. If anybody has not tried it yet, it is fantastic. And moving into those Tuesday cultural meals is like, in the next couple of months, everybody will see some different kind of programming going on in addition to the meals. So if you go, you get to be fed and you get to learn a little bit about the Indian culture.
It's a great meal, by the way, and well attended.
Yes.
So the volunteers work hard that night.
So moving into our next category for outreach, we have the hoop board. So we have a 3-year contract with them, so you can see for fiscal year 26, we do not have any expenses with them. Then we have the My Senior Center software, which everybody's pretty familiar with. You check in, so that costs us roughly $2,700. Swag. So we do a lot of swag. So the swag falls under any kind of gifts or promotions or anything that we might do that at the Senior Center to either promote a program, promote the My Senior Center, promote an event that's happening, to really get people engaged. Then, as I mentioned before, going into marketing a newsletter, to mail out our 24-page monthly newsletter every single month, it costs just about $7,500. We're expecting by the end of the year to probably be over $8,000. So you can see the $7,500 there that we have allocated from the formula grant, in addition to the $2,000 that was allocated from the general fund. Then we have our sensory garden. So the sensory garden, we have allocated $10,000. So right now, I just want to give an update on the sensory garden. We have an RFP submitted to the town of Shrewsbury's building department, and they're looking over the RFP so we can move forward to start getting the bids on that. Home technology services, so we have $10,000 allocated towards that. So what that is if anybody at home who's a senior, 60 and over, living in Shrewsbury, who might need some kind of tech support at home, whether it's hooking up a new television, getting cable going, perhaps it's even something with your phone, we actually have a fantastic program where we can send somebody to your home and it's at no cost to the Shrewsbury senior. Then at the very end, we have outreach prizes allocated for $3,000. And that includes people joining for Hoop Board, people checking into My Senior Center, and people taking various surveys. We have surveys for how people perceive our programs that happen at the Senior Center, as well as our special trips that we offer. Moving on to transportation, so we have $15,000 allocated for acquiring we have 2 COA vehicles, and we're expecting sometime in FY26 that one of those vehicles that is being leased by Mass DOT will reach its useful life. And once it reaches its useful life, which is 150,000 miles, or I believe it's 6 years old, we have the opportunity to acquire it. And according to our calculations, it could cost roughly $15,000. So that's where that $15,000 is allocated for.
And that useful life's defined by the federal grant.
Yes, yep. So that is Mass DOT telling us what it is. So then special trips, $1,000 a month, $12,000. So as a lot of people are aware, we've been offering some amazing monthly trips through our transportation services, and that's what that $12,000 is allocated for. And then, of course, any extra COA van maintenance. So we do have a revolving account that allows us to use some of those funds to fix any one of our vans, but just to be on the safe side, because we don't want anything to happen to our special trips program, we have another $5,000 allocated for that. Are there any questions based on the general fund or the formula grant? No.
So far, I know we don't directly get any federal funding, but there hasn't been any cutback in federal funding that is,
No, as a matter of fact, if everybody recalls, the last time we met in June, the Massachusetts Council on Aging, our formula grant went from $15 a senior from the 2020 census up to $16 a senior from the 2020 census. So actually, so that's state, we're making more money. So right now, we are not seeing any cuts in our department.
okay, great.
Aisha,
Questions?
I was just gonna have Aisha go to the gift fund, and then she can speak to that.
Okay,
So for the gift fund, this is anything that if we want to show appreciation to a staff or a volunteer, that money will come out of the gift fund. And so what we used to do was for the $5 suppers and everything, they would all go back into the formula grant, but now they're also going to go back into the revolving account to help pay for van repairs.
So again, the gift fund is for any community donations that come into the center, to the senior center, that aren't clearly defined on what where they want their money to go. So anybody that makes a donation can say that I want it to go to the sensory garden, or I want it to go to transportation or outreach or anything like that. If it's not specifically defined, we put it right into the gift fund. And then, Aisha, if you can move down to the garden fund, you can see that the garden fund right now has $11,630.92. So that will be part of the all-together combined money that we have for it. So that is the $11,000 here, it is the $10,000 from the formula grant, and then if you recall, back in, I forget if it was May or June, the board voted on also having it come out of the gift account also. So we have about $32,000 that's going to be saved towards the garden fund in the RFP that I talked about previously. Then the WRTA salary. Just to remind everybody, so we have an agreement with the WRTA. So we put their vans on the road, and we are able to supply trips to work, medical, and grocery stores. And so the agreement that we have with the WRTA is the money that they give us helps pay for our 2 full-time van drivers. So that's what this spreadsheet is for. So whenever you're looking at that, that's how you can see that. And you can see that the current balance is $16,396.11. We haven't yet received, so the way it works is on a monthly basis, we receive checks that come from the WRTA, which will then be deposited. So every time you all check into this spreadsheet, these will be updated in real time.
Also, on the food pantry tab, anybody who donates to us for the food pantry, that goes into a separate food pantry account that has nothing to do with our formula allocated $5,000.
So I know that's a lot on our spreadsheets, and we try to make it as simple as possible. We feel that these spreadsheets are very good for our use because, like I said, it is real time, and then what we do is we compare it to any Munis software sheets that we have and make sure that we're all budgeting the same. Any questions on the financial reports? Okay. Not hearing any.
okay. Moving on to the director's report.
So the Senior Center and COA happenings, the first one is Friends of the Shrewsbury Senior Center update. I'm going to give that to Alex.
We've met with the Friends group, and we met with the Assistant Town Manager, Keith Baldinger, in one of those meetings, held discussions on the memorandum of understanding, and we are waiting to hear back from the Friends group. So that's on hold right now, I guess.
Yep. Okay, thank you. So the next one is My Senior Center and the Hoop Board data. So everybody should have received a printed copy right in front of you. And so you can see if you do compare it to months before, we are steadily climbing with the amount of people that are entering the senior center and how the staff is engaging and things like that. Any questions? I myself am very pleased with the data.
So I would love to see a table of totals for the fiscal years, so we could see the growth.
Do you, so,
Fiscal year, I guess, so,
right, so I gave that to the board in June. So
Yeah.
I did like the whole fiscal year comparison. So do you want it for, like, how we're doing each month to also see that?
that would be great. Might need to wait until you get fully staffed to do that.
It's not difficult. So the way you'll see it when the hardest part is to get an accurate number. So it would only be the month before, because we meet usually somewhere between the 9th and the
Sure.
13th.
Yeah, that's fine.
You won't get the month that we're in, you'll get the month before. So then you'll be able to see that I'm expecting it to climb. So I can certainly add those. For those people at home, the part that I really would like for people to show, if you can do the average per weekday at the bottom, keep going, it's green, right there. You can see the number of people that are coming into the senior center. So on Mondays, we have about 54, Tuesday 83, Wednesday 87, Thursday 83, and Fridays 21s. Now, it's really important for everybody to understand these numbers only reflect the number of people that actually check into the senior center. There are people that don't have a card, wish not to have a card. There are sometimes one-off programs that we're not able to capture for whatever reason. There are things that happen outside of the senior center. So really, these numbers should be inflated, but I want to accurately show you what my senior center captures. And as I mentioned before, I am extremely happy with all of the numbers that we have to date. I'm also extremely happy with the number of engagements for the Hoop Board. So the Hoop Board is the marketing tool that we use at the senior center. So it is a kiosk at the senior center. You can go up, you can see what's going on, but in addition to that, it's an app that you can put on your phone. And it is, again, real time. If you have the Hoop Board, and it doesn't matter if you have an Apple phone or an Android, it will give you real time. It gives you the biggest one, and again, I'm gonna reiterate what happened this week. So we ended up having to cancel some of our fitness classes yesterday due to the heat. And the way we send out notifications is, one, we use the Hoop Board app. 2, we send out emails. 3, we do social media, so like Facebook. We're also going to get in the habit of start utilizing the My Senior Center engagement tool. So anybody that actually signs up using the My Senior Center app that leaves a phone number will get a text to their phone. So that we're gonna start incorporating those. So it's a lot of ways to get informed. But if you really, really want like I said, the real-time updates of what's happening at the senior center, the Hoop Board is the way to go. Anybody that needs help getting it on their phone, we are absolutely able to do that. Just come into the senior center and we will help you out.
Who leads the balance and fall prevention?
So Balance and Fall is instructed by Jessica Mello.
And her credentials are?
So she is, I believe, a certified fitness instructor.
That's great. The attendance is great on that.
Yep, so one of the things that Aisha actually has been doing a fantastic job on is sending out those news flashes to our instructors and our facilitators, to the context that we have for each group, and saying, like, these are the numbers we have this month. You know, does it reflect the people that are actually coming? Because at the end of the day, it is the facilitator's job as much as it is our job to make sure that the people that are visiting the senior center are engaging with the My Senior Center kiosk. You know, that is the one way we make sure that any of those programs are staying, that we're not canceling, that we're not readjusting in any ways. And I have to say, our instructors and our facilitators have been absolutely fantastic. They've been asking us for additional help. And as I mentioned before, I only expect all of these numbers to go up each and every month.
I think since you put a flyer out that people need to scan, and we've been pushing it. I know my wife does, she takes Zumba classes, so she tells her colleagues, did you scan? And I think the number's gonna go up. It's just some people come in at the last moment,
Yeah.
and they don't have time, and on the way out, they forget.
Yep.
So I think those numbers will go up.
Good. One of the things that I do want to just mention is Aisha and I spent quite some time the last couple of weeks looking at the My Senior Center setup. And now remember, the My Senior Center software is set up in a way for every council on aging and senior center across New England to be able to use the software. So we actually have to figure out what works best for us. So moving into next month, you're going to see a little either decrease in a couple of numbers or an increase in some other numbers, because what we were seeing is we weren't really capturing all of the outreach work that we've been doing. And the outreach work is not only with Renee D'Argento, our outreach coordinator, but our very qualified volunteers that sit at the reception desk. We have them log every interaction that happens with them at the reception desk. So whether it's a phone call, whether it's an office visit or anything like that, they log that. So what Aisha and I are going to do is recreate some of these numbers. So when we're talking about the 4 categories, and you can see that at the very top of this sheet, it says categories to the left. It says you'll see nutrition, outreach, and programs. Those numbers are going to change a little bit next month. So like I said, expect it to either go up or one of them to go down, because what we did was we grabbed some of the things that were currently organized in programs that we didn't think really fell into programs that we felt strongly that they should be in outreach, and vice versa. So those numbers are going to change a little bit next month, but then we're hoping that you'll see a nice rhythm as the rest of fiscal year 26 happens that will show a more accurate of the engagement that we're having. So despite people coming in for, whether it's current events or fitness classes or anything like that, we're really going to capture those outreach components, because Renee does a fantastic job in organizing, whether she does calls by phone, calls by office, calls by walk-ins. So all of a sudden, you'll see a definite increase in our outreach numbers going up, which I think is super important, because one of the things that I'm looking forward to in fiscal year 27 is to get some more staffing at the senior center. That is my ultimate goal, because right now we're about a party of 5. Well, right now we're a party of 4. And, we want to make sure that our senior center itself, its structure isn't growing, but the way we go about working with what we have, we want to grow. So that involves, I'm hoping to get another outreach person. I'm hoping to get another program coordinator. So I'm really going to be concentrating very hard on really showing accurate numbers. So when it's time for the fiscal year 27 and time for us to go to the finance committee, that we have all of the right kind of framework to make those presentations. With all of that said, any questions to what I just mentioned? Okay.
It's a lot of data, but it's important to track the success of the programs and all the events and all, so
Correct.
thank you for doing that. I know
I have a
it's
question,
lot of
Holly.
work.
Do the program instructors all get paid?
So the senior center does not pay 98% of the instructors. Most of them are rely on suggested donations from the participants that go. The only people that we do pay for is the technology classes. We pay for those services. So we pay for the services that come into the building, and we pay for the at-home services. Other than that, everybody else relies, so the instructors rely on the participant donations. What's that?
And when you say the technology, is that the tech support clinic or?
So that's both. So we have an in-house senior center tech support clinic that happens once a month on Mondays. And then we have the Any senior can call and somebody will go to their home and help them out with whatever they have going on. This has proven wildly successful. People have been very, very happy. Because, sometimes with modern day, if something isn't working, whether it's your laptop, computer, television, or whatever it might be, you kind of go into a little panic mode, and we don't want that to happen. So having this new opportunity to offer this year, like I said, has been proved to be very meaningful.
So that's separate from the Selco help desk, right?
That is separate from the Selco help desk, yes. So Selco is Selco, COA is COA. But COA can help with any issues that you, like if you got a product from Selco or anything like that, we will send somebody out to see what that problem is. So the way it works is a person calls, so Shangara, you would call me and say, I need help with my television settings, I can't connect it to the remote control. So then I put it into a spreadsheet. I then share that spreadsheet with the Savvy Services, the technology people, and then they will contact you personally, and then they'll set up an appointment with you to come to your home. And then their job is to then put in what the interaction was and how it came out, and then they bill us each month, and then we send them the payment.
Now, does that show up, I see here, tech support clinic too. What is that?
So that's the home one.
Okay, so it was
Yep.
only, and then the other one doesn't show up here at all.
So the other one is, the other one is actually under programs, is that correct?
Yes. He did mention that he was having everybody sign in under special programs, but we now have a specific sign in for him now, so moving forward, his numbers will go up.
So it's in the special program
Yes.
line?
Yep.
So where is that? Oh, a special program.
Yep.
65.
So what happens in the My Senior Center kiosk, like I said, sometimes we can't possibly, so when we have the one-off events, so one-off event might be like 1 month we have Coffee with a Cop, or we might have Benchmark Assisted Living come and do a presentation. So instead of writing each and every single one that happens, because it does take time, we have a button that says special programs. So if there's no other button to click, that's the button to click. So we do mention that in our newsletter. We do mention that the receptionists know to tell people when they come up, they're like, I don't see, and it's like, nope, hit special programs, because like it would be impossible to write down every single program that we offer.
So if somebody wants home tech support, they don't literally call you directly, they call in whoever answers the,
No, they
Front
call
office.
us. Nope, they call us. So right now they call Aisha specifically.
okay.
Yep.
And I'll reach out to him and let them know their issue that they're having and give them their information.
Great.
Now, that's the one that's billable at $60 an hour?
Yes.
Yeah, because that seemed kind of high, because I know we've gotten some tech support where we are, and it could be at 35, 40. It just seemed like a lot of money the company's charging.
Yeah, so we understand that. We also believe that the benefit outweighs the cost, especially to serving the seniors at home. Because we all know, you call Comcast, you call Xfinity, you call whomever, you call Apple, and you get redirected, you talk through a bunch of telephone prompts. We want to make everybody's life a lot easier, and unfortunately, that does come at a cost. And with the responses that we get after people have had these experiences, they are so, so very, very grateful. Now, this is something we're going to keep monitoring. So we want to make sure that we're getting our money's worth, to your point. And we want to, so this will be our first full year of offering it for an entire fiscal year, whereas before we only had a couple of months in. So we don't know if all of the money that I've allocated for it we're actually going to use, but we will not exceed. So if it comes to that point, we'll have to let people know we got to wait until the next fiscal year, and we'll reassess at that time.
But the home tech support is free to people using it?
Yes. Yes. Yep.
All right, anything else? Moving on, outreach, and Renee D'Argento is on vacation, as you said earlier.
She is, much deserved. So one of the new programs that is happening starting in September is the free legal consultations. One of the interesting things is since my arrival here in Shrewsbury in 2020 and then COVID, according to what I've been told, is there was free legal consultations happening at the senior center prior to COVID. After COVID, we have had pretty much no success in getting anybody to come in here or into the center to offer that service. And we put out a couple of advertisements through social media and through email and on our newsletter, and luckily we finally got somebody. The name escapes me right now, I apologize, but they'll be coming in once a month. It is by appointment only, so if anybody wants it, they get half an hour free legal consultation at the center. That is not, we're not paying for it either. This is something that this company is volunteering for this service. So we're super, super excited because we do get a lot of phone calls requesting it.
Is it the same lawyer? all the
No, it is not. It is this, yes, it is the same service. It is the same, I don't know if it's the same lawyer, but it's the same company.
Is it general legal matters?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on, monthly series,
The
Power of Nutrition.
Yes, so the Power of Nutrition. This is an 8-week series coming up. This is to kind of help support the food pantry use, anybody that's using the food pantry, anybody that is just interested in it. And what they'll learn is like the proper ways to go into a grocery store and purchase goods, the proper way to come home, and the proper way to cook, the proper way to store, the proper way to serve, and things like that. We really want to educate people on, especially if you're coming into the food pantry and you're leaving, because you never know. All of our products change on a daily basis. But in addition to that, the prices of groceries at the market changes, right? So what you might be able to buy one week, you don't buy the next week for whatever reason. So this class series is going to help people navigate through the best use of the things that they can purchase, the things that they have at home, the best nutrition value for it, and the cost-saving strategies to get the best bang for your buck. So this is an 8-week series. I believe it's starting in September, depending on the success of the program, on whether or not we'll move forward and do a repeat of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on to programs, Interage Alliance and Yahoo Update.
Yes, so I am, I'm going to start and then I'm going to move it over to Aisha. So in July, we had an open house meeting, and where we were invited, all of the Shrewsbury students from junior high to high school to come into the senior center. And basically what we were going to do is inform them of all of the volunteer opportunities that are available. And so we introduced to them what Interage Alliance was. This is our first year with Interage Alliance. Also what Yahoo is, the Young Adults Helping Out Others. And we wanted to educate the students as well as the parents when they came to the open house. What I really enjoyed was that the board for the Interage Alliance, the first year board, they all had different little parts where they spoke to all of the people that showed up. And there were 50 to 60 parents and children and students, I don't want to call them children, and students that showed up and were well engaged and very interested in the things that we were talking. And the board of the Interage Alliance, like I said, they split up each one of their parts to have a specific portion to talk about, and I thought they did a fantastic job. They also made a small little video about kind of showing the people that were there the senior center, kind of showing them around virtually. And then we opened up to a slew of questions. So we expected our turnout to be maybe 20, and like I said, we had 50 to 60, and we have people that are coming in. So they meet every Tuesday. We have more and more new faces in the last couple of weeks also. So where we were very concerned, we weren't sure if our Yahoo program was going to be able to happen this year. It is definitely going to happen. And so I thank all of the students that have shown up. I thank all of the parents. So we're looking for the chaperones. We have the live sign-up sheets I'm going to pass this over to you and for you to kind of add anything else in there. I know you sat with them yesterday, so maybe you can talk a little bit about what you talked about moving forward.
I sat with them yesterday. All of them were super excited for Yahoo, which I'm really excited. I also want to say if there are any parents interested in Yahoo, please reach out to me because we are looking for more chaperones. It's starting October 11th, and I can give you all the other details and everything else you need. So they are also super excited about upcoming programs. They really, really want to put on a dance for the seniors. They talked about that yesterday. They're also super interested in our multicultural goal for the seniors center this year, so they want to be a part of that too, and showcasing their different cultural backgrounds and educating seniors on cultures that they don't know about really. And yeah, they're also super excited for Seniors to Believe, and they want to get started on making care packages for the seniors this year.
And-
Sorry,
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, when you talk about a dance for the seniors, you
Yes.
don't mean the high school seniors, I presume.
No.
No. So there was
People
talk
like
about.
myself.
Yep, so there is talk about like having a prom and perhaps including the recreation department. One of the things that we're actually kind of focused on right now is recognizing that, you know, as you age, sometimes your social connection gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And one of our goals is to make people's social connections a little bit larger. So having opportunities for get-togethers where, like it's kind of a mixer. You make new friends and have some icebreakers and have a dance and have a sit-down dinner and really make those social connections outside of the senior center. So like my goal is to do it at one of the hotels nearby and to actually have it so it's an engaging event that really doesn't scream senior center or anything like that. I want it to be fun, I want it to be social, and I want it to be for our communities, not only just for Shrewsbury, but all the surrounding communities, because everybody's friends with everybody around and anybody would be invited. So we're trying to figure out the best way to collaborate, whether it's friends of the Shrewsbury Senior Center or Recreation Department, our Interage Alliance, to make these things happen in the next fiscal year.
You know, depending on how many people show interest, you could also have it at India Center on Main Street.
That would be
They have a
fantastic.
big hall. And talking about the high school students, I wonder if the number will go down once the school year starts. Because in July, August, they're free.
Yes.
But many of them do sports or other activities during the school year.
So the way it's happening, the way it's been restructured for the summer is the students have been still becoming every Tuesday. They moved up their time to 3 to 4. When school starts, they're going to be doing 5 to 6. The way that it's also being restructured is instead of having all the students kind of show up at once and having kind of too much to talk about, it's going to be broken up into subcommittees. So subcommittees for Yahoo, subcommittee for the gifts for seniors, subcommittees for the dance, so whatever it might be. You're 100% correct. We did see a decline last year. Not everybody can attend all through the school year. But we make it known to the students and the parents that are showing up that what our expectations are, be engaged for at least 4 different opportunities. That's what we're asking, right? We don't expect somebody to come and have to be part in all or have that added stress that they weren't able to attend something, so they're not going to get their certificate of completion at the end. That is not what our goal is. Our goal is to just make sure that that social aspect, the volunteer aspect, is all there and met. So we've put it at a very low number of 4. But we think for how busy students are, how busy families are, we think that that's a nice number to start with, and maybe next year we'll kind of reassess those numbers and maybe increase it. I don't see it decreasing much, but you know, being part of Yahoo is on a Saturday morning, so that doesn't really conflict with anything going on in the weekdays, but we do know, like you said, sports, work, and things like that, which is also one of the reasons why we decided to invite the junior high school students, because they're a little too young to work, right? So they can still make things happen for us, which I think is super important. And the other thing is, we're still getting phone calls from people that haven't even heard of our Interage Alliance or Yahoo and saying, hey, we want to volunteer. And, Aisha gets on the phone and goes, well, we've got something for you. And then we kind of just go with it. And how many names do you think that are on our list between the Yahoo and Interage?
From the open house meeting, we probably got about 50 fill outs for our form.
That's really good. That's really, really good. That is more than half increase from last year.
So what's the youngest age that,
It would be a junior high, or I believe I was just
6 through 12.
middle school, 6 through 12.
okay,
So grades 6 through 12.
I'll get my grandson to.
There you go. Bring them on in.
You do it or else.
We'll get them working for sure.
And the students also stay connected through WhatsApp and through everything that they are now working on their social media. That was a big thing. They're gonna really up their social media this year, and they're also connected through their WhatsApp. So even if they miss a meeting or two, they can still know what's going on within their subcommittee or just the entire group as a whole, so that when they come back, they're not lost about what do I do.
Okay, moving on, transportation.
Yes, so we applied for and was awarded $25,000 from the Massachusetts Council on Aging for our transportation grant. And so what this grant is enabling us to do is to offer free transportation outside of business hours through Yellow Cab, Your Ride Inc., and Safeway Luxury Transportation. Your Ride and Safeway Luxury Transportation are vans that specifically are geared towards anybody in a wheelchair or perhaps even bed-stricken to get to their doctor's appointments. We have received and continue to receive numerous requests from Shrewsbury members, Shrewsbury residents, that they have to go from Shrewsbury to Auburn. And they call us and they tell us it costs us $88 to get there, it costs us $88 to get back, and in addition to that, it costs them another $3.50 for every mile driven. And so you can imagine, and that's on a weekly basis that these people need. So we did this about 3 years ago, and we actually had $60,000 from a Mass DOT grant, and we spent every penny. So we expect that the $25,000, which will actually start in September and it will end beginning of June, that we expect that we will expense the $25,000 pretty quickly. So the way this works is they have to call Cynthia Willis, our transportation coordinator, directly to schedule these rides. So then Cynthia asks a slew of questions, and then she decides whether this person should be on Yellow Cab, Safeway, or Your Ride Inc. And again, so what she does is she schedules them. Those companies then bill us each month for what the rides are. Cynthia and Aisha will compare them to make sure that all of the invoices are correct, and then we will send out payments, and then we will send that over to Mass Council on Aging so they can reimburse us accordingly. So the one thing about the Massachusetts Council on Aging grants, is that they reimburse us after we invoice. So we don't get the money prior and then we spend it. We show them that we've already spent it and then we get the money back. So that can take a little bit of time. So you will see fluctuation in our formula grant, expenses, whether it be through the Munis software updates or through the spreadsheets that we have. But we will keep specific itemized things for that, so we can keep everybody posted. We're very, very excited for this opportunity again. Any questions on that?
Okay, nutrition.
Okay, food pantry update. So we, in July, started receiving our the Gleaners Acton Farm donations. And basically what that is we get 12 banana boxes full of donations from the Acton Farm. And it can range anywhere from kale to peaches to grapes to cucumbers to lettuce to radishes. I mean, if it grows out of the ground, they've got it for us. And that comes to us each Monday. So then we have volunteers along with our food pantry coordinator, Jennifer Andrade. So they come in, we accept the donations. We now have that storage container that sits outside of in the back of the senior center for overflow. And what we do is the volunteers and Jennifer, they take all of that food, they stock the food pantry, they kind of go through all of the food. They will divide it. We then call the Shrewsbury Housing Authority with anything that we have in excess. They come, they grab it, they disperse it to the residents that live in the 3 housing complexes. Anything that might be have a shorter shelf life, we put out in the senior center on an open table, and we tell everybody, please help yourself. We offer bags. But to date, we have when I checked this morning, I believe it was 131 households utilizing the senior center food pantry. One of the things that we absolutely strive to do, and we do our best to do it, is anytime somebody comes in and donates to us, it's so important that people get to see where their donations are going, so we invite them to come and kind of bring it to the food pantry themselves. And we always get the same reaction. They're like, oh my goodness, this is unbelievable. It's small, but it is unbelievable. And so 131 households. And again, those households, as long as there's a Shrewsbury senior person 60 and over living in that house, whether there's 1 person or 7 people, like let's just say somebody lives with their family, that they can take whatever the means are that they need from the food pantry. I think it's also super important to recognize that our slew of volunteers that we have, I believe we have at least 12 right now that work during the week that come in and do anywhere from 4 to 6 hours in a shift. They are super, super helpful, and they have done a fantastic job in keeping us notified at, in the office area of whenever they have any kind of needs. So if somebody comes up and says, Holly, Aisha, we're running low on hygiene items, we're running low on produce, can you send out an email? Within hours of sending out any kind of marketing or advertising or anything like that we're looking for something, people are coming in hordes and sending us stuff. So I can't thank the community enough for really supporting the food pantry and everything that it's about. So it's proven very, very successful.
Okay. Keep talking.
Okay. The Tuesday night dinners, I think I already touched on that. We're working very close with Sirloin. Anytime we get any feedback from any of the people that are enjoying the Tuesday night dinners, we make sure we let Sirloin know, because we want to make sure that their experiences are a positive one. Shagara, I don't know if you want to talk about like the social aspect of there, since you are a volunteer.
Yeah, I think food is one thing, but it just people just getting to know each other. They sit on the same tables pretty much, and they chat. I mean, they finish their food, but they're still chatting. And like yesterday, food came early, and people are there earlier. I mean, it starts at 4 o'clock, but they're like 3:30, quarter to 4. So then after about 10 minutes, we start serving. Why we want to keep them waiting? By 4:30, they're all done, but they're still sitting at the table. And by 5 o'clock, we turn the lights off at the kitchen. That we gotta go. But yeah, I mean, it's very good experience for us, because we get to talk to them, and they talk to each other, and yeah, mostly the same people come. Sometimes, we get new people, maybe once a month or so. But usually anywhere from 15 to 25 people sign up, depending on what the meal is that day. So yeah, I feel honored to volunteer there.
Food smells wonderful and
Yes,
tastes good too,
it
from
is.
my personal experience.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks.
Shankara. And then the Indian cuisine, I already touched on that. We're hoping to expand our multicultural opportunities that are happening at the senior center to meet our fiscal year 26 goals. The staff have all created goals, personal goals for themselves that align with the department goals for the multicultural opportunities and the senior spotlight. So I'm very much looking forward to see how the senior center engages with the community and how the community engages with the senior center moving on this year. I really think it takes a little bit of time to kind of inform people of what we're trying to do, but once it happens, there is a trickling effect that has deemed really positive for the light of the senior center. And I couldn't be happier with the amount of people that are coming in and out of the senior center. We're really looking to just make that positive experience. What we don't offer, I always suggest to people to try a different senior center because we don't always have to offer the same things. And it's good that we don't, right? Because if we did, then there would be no social connection. So as far as our nutrition, our programs, our outreach, and our transportation, I think the Shrewsbury Council on Aging Department and the Senior Center are really, really just kind of rocking it. That's the best that I can put it.
No question.
To add to that, there's going to be a special program on 7th of October and Diwali function.
Yes.
So that will be like kickstart of a multicultural luncheon event. And
100%,
so we
thank
have,
you.
3 hours instead of an hour program that day. So I would,
Wow.
on behalf of the FISCO organization, would invite everybody to come and participate. Food plus the cultural events.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask a question on the food pantry. Are you considering increasing the hours people can come by to pick up food?
So I am working with the town manager's office to try to see how we can expand that. With our staffing the way it is, we have to be super careful that we don't kind of say we're going to do,
Overcommit?
overcommit, and where we can't stay with it and continue with it. So for right now, we're going to continue with the way that we're operating. So Mondays is the stocking, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are come and get the meals, and then the Thursdays and Fridays are kind of like checking out what needs to be rotated and calling the housing authority and things like that. And we also stock anything that's also left over if, again, the shelf lives. We know that the community refrigerator that sits right outside of the senior center, made possible by the Shrewsbury Rotary Club, is another source for people to go to. But yes, we are working towards trying to increase those hours.
Is the staffing all volunteer?
So we have one 18-hour food pantry coordinator, Jennifer Andrade, and then everybody else is all volunteers.
So if you need more, increase the hours, you need more volunteers.
Yes, to increase the hours, yes, we need more volunteers, but it's super important to have a coordinator that's present to kind of go to for any needs and things like that, because we all have our own specified needs of what we're expected to do while we're there, so it's really hard for any one of us to have to be taken away to something else. So it kind of goes hands in hand. So if we're going to increase those hours, we really need to increase the food pantry hours, coordinator hours too. Just to have that supervisor there.
Okay. Any new business? Old business?
So just as a reminder, I won't be here physically for September at all, and then hopefully virtually October and November, because I'll be out. In the meantime, in the interim, Aisha will be the one that's coordinating these. So what I do ask from the board is if you're not able to be at a specific scheduled meeting, to let Aisha know, because if there isn't a quorum, we have to cancel. Okay? And the town manager's office is aware that we have one open position available. Okay?
All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? And all in favor?
Hey.
Aye, aye.
Thank you.